She is going to test your confidence, bro. And if you do not respond like a man, you will lose the girl every time.
You're such a loser.
Or even worse, she'll stay around, but she will lose all respect for you.
Oh, wow. You think you're such a tough guy, don't you?
Number one, she's acting. Every single guy who has ever put himself out there and gone after a girl that he likes knows that at first, when you're first talking to her, she's gonna act a little bit disinterested. Maybe she's taking hours to get back to each text. Maybe when you ask her to hang out, she says something like, this week's a bit tough for me. This act, and the girl is acting when she does this, is a test. And how you respond determines whether she's going to see you as a simp or as a G. So think about it for a second. How do you typically respond in this situation? The simp responds by chasing. He texts her and says, "What about next weekend? Are you free then?" And then, of course, the game of cat and mouse continues. You failed the test and she knows that she owns your balls. She has your balls on lock. Now, a true G does something a little bit different. He changes the frame of the conversation. He texts her back and says, "It's all good. Let me know when you're free." And what this means is that, look, I am interested in you, but I'm not gonna chase you. You also have to make an effort here. Now, a lot of guys are too afraid to send this message. They're afraid that the girl's not gonna get back to them and they're gonna lose the girl. But here's the facts. If you're afraid of losing the girl, you've already lost her. Test number 2, the red flag parade. Now, first, let me say there are some red flags that should just be deal breakers. Oh, I actually cheated on my ex. Have you seen my OnlyFans account? I don't need a man. If a girl says any of these things that are deeply structural problems, you should be out. That's not a girl that you should pursue. But sometimes girls will say some shit or they'll do some shit that's more of a low-key red flag and they're just kind of fishing to see how you're gonna respond. So maybe she starts talking about a different guy that she matched with on Tinder, or maybe she's looking at her phone, not giving you her full attention on the date, or maybe when you hang out with her, you notice that her phone is usually face down and it's a little bit sketchy, right? How do you respond when a girl does these things? Because I can tell you in the past, I wouldn't say shit, man. I'd be kind of passively aggressively pissed off, but I wouldn't want to rock the boat and cause a confrontation. So I just let it slide and was really annoyed about it. And when you do this, you fail the test. She knows I can walk all over this guy. He doesn't have the confidence to stand up to me and draw the line. Instead, what you should do is calmly draw the line. Don't freak out. Don't get mad at her. But if her phone's always down when you guys are hanging out, just ask her, "Hey, you know, it's interesting. Your phone's always face down when we're hanging out. What's going on there?" And guess what? Maybe she actually is hiding something, but at least now you know. Maybe she gets upset and says, "Oh, what are you, jealous? Are you so focused on my phone that you don't trust me?" And that is good information to be aware of, because maybe she is doing something sketchy, but maybe she's just testing you, and maybe she corrects the behavior and now she's less likely to do these weird low-key red flags. She knows that with you, you're gonna call it out and it's not gonna slide. And if you think about it, that means that these are really opportunities for you to test the girl. You take her test, and you throw it right back at her and see if she passes it. Now, this next thing that I'm gonna talk about is the final time you're ever going to hear me mention this. So if you're someone who's serious about getting your dating life sorted once and for all, then pay attention. This is going to be the last opportunity ever to join my premium dating coaching program. As y'all know, I run multiple businesses: Edge Lifestyle Clothing, Gains Club Supplements, the Beastly app, Beast Nation, this YouTube channel, and the premium coaching. It takes such a massive amount of my energy and my focus that we've made the strategic decision to wind it down so I can focus more on growing the other businesses. Now, that being said, this creates a unique opportunity because we're gonna be working with one final wave of men, and we're gonna be taking these guys from wherever you are now all the way until you're the type of guy that can effortlessly attract even the highest quality women.
Since I started the program, it sounds kind of douchey, but I kind of have like a roster of girls that I'm like going on dates with.
Now when I get home from work or a hard day, it's just nice to have someone that is loving and supporting.
So I couldn't keep a girl interested in me. I would say as early as my second week, I was getting 3 to 4 dates a week. At the end of the program, I got this really amazing, beautiful girlfriend, super supportive of me.
The guys in the program get to work directly with myself every single week and the other high-level coaches that we have on board. This is going to be the highest level of support to help you reach this result as fast as possible. And once this opportunity passes, it's done. Honestly, it's been such an amazing journey these last few years, helping thousands of guys with this same issue that I struggled with for years. And I'm pumped. I'm pumped to do it one last time. Click the link in description or go to beastcoaching.com to learn more, see more testimonials, and apply now. However, if you wait more than the next few days, I cannot guarantee that we're going to be accepting any more applications. Test number 3, running their mouth. So for all of you who've had a girlfriend at one point or another, you know that all women, they have this kind of fucked up tendency. It doesn't happen often, but from time to time, the same scenario plays out. So picture this. You go to the dog park with your girlfriend and your dog, and then this asshole rolls up with 2 aggressive dogs that are off leash. They're starting shit with all the other dogs. And so your girlfriend takes it upon herself to go confront this asshole. And she says, get your dogs in line. What are you doing at this dog park? You're such an asshole. How can you be acting like this? And this type of guy, obviously, he escalates things. He says,
Shut up, bitch. Mind your own business. My dogs can do what they want.
the question here is, what do you do? You only have a few seconds to respond as this escalates. How do you handle this? With the other 2 tests that we talked about, the key was to be non-reactive. But in this case, if you don't react and you freeze up and you see what happens between your girl and this guy, you're fucked. Because your girl now doesn't feel safe. She doesn't feel like she has a man that's gonna step up and protect her, even if she picked a stupid ass fight. The only right answer here is to go over there, get in between your girl and the guy, and tell your girl, hey, let me handle this. Tell the guy, hey, calm down. Let's just leave it like this and de-escalate the situation. Or if he continues running his mouth and continue trying to escalate, then of course, you have to step to him and also let him know that this shit ain't gonna fly. If you don't step up here, man, you failed in your role as the protector in the relationship. And if your girl doesn't leave you, well, she's gonna be the one who has to wear the pants now because you've shown that you can't handle it. Luckily, in modern times, these scenarios are few and far between, but you have to be ready to step up when that moment comes. It's fight or flight, and you better fucking fight for your girl. Test number 4, awkward silence. So this is a very low-key test, and the girl doesn't even know that she's testing you in these scenarios, but the first time or the first few times you hang out with the girl, we're all afraid of that awkward silence, right? You run out of things to say, the girl stops talking, and now you're sat there across from her just staring at her, and it feels like, fuck, bro, I better think of something good to say quick. And a lot of times we rush to say something, right? What do you say? You're like, well, how many brothers and sisters do you have? Or what drinks do you normally like to order? Now, here's the thing. When you do this and you kind of anxiously rush to say something, you show that you're a reactive, a little bit emotional type of guy. Like, that's just the type of guy that you are. Now, she knows that. She's seen your true colors. And this is going to play out later on in the relationship when she tells you, babe, you're working too much. And you're going to be reactive and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'll stop working. I'll just hang out with you. Or when your girl's not saying anything, she's being kind of quiet, but you can tell something's off. Well, she knows that in those situations, you're always going to be like, oh my God, baby, what's wrong? What can I do to help you out? How can I make the situation better? The way to pass this test is to be non-reactive. When the awkward silence comes, take a breath, take a sip of your cocktail if you guys are out at the bar, and wait. Give it 5-10 seconds, because what you're going to find is that likely she is going to be the one that reacts and says something to fill the silence. And if not, you guys just had this really, intense, intimate moment, and naturally you'll think of something to say calmly to fill the silence. And even more important than that, when you do this correctly, the girl now understands on a deep level that this is a calm, masculine, non-reactive man. She's going to feel safer with you. She's going to have more respect for you, and she's going to be less likely to play other games with you. It's a small thing, but sometimes the small things are actually the big things. Test number 5, the insults. So fighting is an inevitable part of any relationship. Even the good ones, you're going to fight sometimes. And when you fight, typically your girl is going to tend to be more emotional than you are. That's just women. However, if you tend to be the type of guy who does also get emotional and you lose your cool when you fight with your girl, well, that's another issue that you need to take a look at, because that's also likely fucking you in other areas of your life. When something goes wrong with your business or your health, you lose your cool. That's how you can become the type of guy who's like 1 step forward, 3 step backwards. You don't stay calm and stay focused on the mission. But when it comes to fighting with your girl, if you also get emotional, this is going to lead to one of these crazy, toxic blowout fights where both of y'all are yelling at each other. That's not good for anybody. Unless, of course, your girl is the man in the relationship and she's the one who's able to de-escalate things and calm things down. So here's the key. When your girl says something that's deeply insulting, she jabs that knife into your stomach and twists it. She calls you a pussy. She calls you a weak, scrawny bitch. She talks shit about your mother. This, my friends, is another test. And how do you respond when your girl insults you like this? Do you take it and just stay quiet so that she knows she can say whatever she wants and you don't give a fuck? Do you get mad at her and start insulting her and start calling her a bitch and insulting her family? I mean, that's probably what you feel like doing in that moment, but what results does that get you to? Just more animosity and anger between you, and maybe the relationship ended at that point, right? Or 3, and this is the calm masculine response, do you tell her, Look, you can't talk to me like that. That's just not acceptable. So you need to calm down, take a minute, and when you're ready to actually speak to me, we can talk then, but I'm not gonna have a conversation with you now. And what you'll likely find is that, yes, she'll still be mad in that moment, and you'll still be very mad at her, but 15, 30 minutes later, an hour later, y'all will actually be able to communicate and get to the root of the issue rather than just being children and insulting each other. Now, that being said, if your girl is doing this like every single week and she's always insulting you, well, obviously that's like, she ain't the one, bro. That's a very unhealthy thing. This is meant to be more from time to time. And if you're really looking to establish that strong masculine-feminine dynamic in your relationship, then you need to watch this video next. The title of this video is "She Will Only Submit If You Do This. 4 rules to follow." Click there to learn the rules. If you're new to the channel, click down there to subscribe, as I release 2 new videos every single week and you don't want to miss them. I'll talk to you in the next video. Stay beastly.